We're live. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to a new event hosted by the Blockchain Game Alliance. Today, we're really excited to have Gauthier and Dan from the nonfungible.com team who are going to present us the NFT Yearly Report 2020, explain us some of the methodology behind the data, showcase some of the great numbers and industry metrics, talk about what's happening in 2021, and there will be some surprise as well, as I've been hearing out. We'll also have a Q&A with them. So before that, for those of you who are not familiar with the Blockchain Game Alliance, a quick presentation about ourselves. We're a nonprofit organization that's committed to promoting blockchain within the game industry. So we are here showcasing all the potential use case through NFT, decentralized gaming, DAOs, DeFi, and more. We're strong advocate for diversity and more inclusivity. We'll provide an open forum for individuals and companies to network together, to find a partnership, to make business, to participate into working group, and more. And we've been growing a lot lately. So through those 4 activities, networking, research and reporting, representing blockchain game companies, advocating for blockchain in the game industry, we've seen the community, all the members growing. This translates into, thanks to all our new sponsors, the family is growing, as you can see. So a big thanks to IOE, Animoca Brands, Ubisoft, Boston Protocol, TriumphX, The Coin Tribune, Galaxy Interactive, Arc.io, Tezos, AMD, Antler Interactive, Anarchy X, Illuvium, Algorand, Chromia, nonfungible.com, obviously, Maker, Matic, OneWayblock, and Mobox for the extra support to the industry, the ecosystem, and the BGA. We are a big family of members working all together to promoting this adoption. We come from all sides of the industry: blockchain game, Shadow's protocol, games, developer solution, esports, investors, PR, legal. You want some company, I'm pretty sure now it's part of the BGA. So that's really exciting how we have all the spectrum here. We host events almost on a weekly basis, demo days, new member presentation once a month. We offer free speaking opportunity at various events. And today we are going to have, for the first time this year, one event dedicated to one of our sponsors, focusing on a particular topic. So really excited to start with the NFT Yearly Report 2020. Since this has been a major piece that gives us some metrics and some data about our industry. Without any further ado, I'm really excited to leave the stage to Dan and Gauthier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, guys, and welcome at the BGA. So we very much look forward to hear more about the annual report and go into details. So I just want to tell the audience watching live, feel free to send any questions. We're going to pick them up during this live conversation, and there's going to be a surprise for you as well. So we introduce Gauthier, Zuppinger, and Dan Kelly. So Zup and Dan have been working on the report. So we'd love to hear how you guys have worked on this, and feel free to share screen and tell us more about how the report came together.
Yeah, sure. So maybe I will start sharing my screen. I'm just going to confess I haven't tested that before, but that should be okay. Yep. Do you see my screen correctly?
Oh, yes, we can see it. You can go on full screen if you like.
Actually, I'm not sure because my screen is a little oversized, So if I
okay.
It will look like that. So
these look fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So basically, also we have been extremely excited to work on this report because it's the first time we've produced something that is not only about figures but as well with the help of our partner L'Atelier BNP Paribas, with a complete overview of what's going on from the human being that is part of this vibrant ecosystem to the major trends, and mostly how to read them, how to understand these trends. So basically, this is not only a report about the market, it's really, it was meant to be some global overview for people that just don't know what are NFTs, that have just heard about that because, of the Beeple sale, of these kind of things, as well for people that are just, trading every day, that knows exactly what's going on in all the markets, but wants some extremely advanced insights. So yeah, we aim to build something that can answer to both needs. Do you want to add something, Dan?
No, I think this year, I think it's just good to emphasize that I think this year we put a lot more effort into the report to highlight more, like you were saying, Zup, to highlight more than just the raw figures and try and analyze them and give it some qualitative analysis behind it and help with beginners as well as the experts in this space. So we really tried to capture the entire blossoming industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe before we dive into some insights from the report, and just maybe we'll go through some important conclusions about it. Maybe some announcements first. The first one is that we'll shortly send the digital version to all the people that have purchased the Pro Edition. Because when you purchase the Pro Edition, you have this physical book, which looks like an encyclopedia, but it's just a report. And so, of course, we'll send the digital copy as well to all the Pro buyers really soon. The other announce is that this, for now, is only the English version of the report. We are soon going to produce a French, Korean, and Chinese version of this report. So for those who just don't speak English or are not comfortable to read 140 pages in English, that's totally understandable. There are other versions that are coming soon as well. Yeah, that's it. Maybe we can introduce some sort of a contest as well. We have checked the really updated figures about the NFT space this morning with Dan, and we have identified the current volume of USD transferred through NFTs from the really beginning of this year. So for 2 months and a half. So basically, the contest would be to try to guess how much USD have been traded from the 1st of January 2021 to today. If you find the right figure, you'll get a free edition of this Pro report, so the physical one plus the digital copy as well. So yep, let's try to guess, and the closer. Yep, Dan?
Just to clarify, are we using USD transferred as in like bids and in-game actions and stuff like that, or are we talking only sales figures?
Not only sales, everything. I mean, if you have spent some ETH to breed some kitties, it counts as a transaction, so it's part of the equation.
Awesome.
That's it. So try to guess. No, that's it.
We're gonna give everyone about half an hour, 40 minutes to think about the answer.
Sounds good.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into the report. And yeah, feel free, everyone, to ask questions as we go through.
Definitely. Do you want to start, Dan? Or maybe I think you just go through, and yeah, we'll maybe stop when we have something really cool to say about the figure or something like that. Just for information, this is the Pro edition of the report, so some of the things you'll see there are not part of the free one, so it's really exclusive. These things we have added at the very beginning was really, in this objective of being as accessible as possible for everyone. I mean, for someone that is already in the NFT space, that just doesn't make sense to know what is art, what is a collectible, what is gaming. But these segments might not be obvious for everyone. So that's why we have this definition of each segment, the vocabulary, what is a builder, what is a crypto artist, what is DeFi, what is a dApp, what is an ERC, all these things that are definitely not obvious for everyone. So that's why we have, these 5-6 pages of glossary, just to be sure we are talking about the same thing and we use the same vocabulary. Maybe, yep, about this, this disclaimer. We had a lot of feedback about the thing that we are not totally exhaustive about the NFT space, and actually, at the end of the day, that's right for now because we only track the ERC 721 transactions on chain. So basically, we don't track the ERC 1155, which is another standard, and we don't track other blockchain, which will be the case next time.
And I think to add to that point on this disclaimer, and I know we had a question about it, Serena, we have excluded Rarible from the report because of the incentive mechanism. There's a lot of, for lack of better words, there's a lot of wash trading happening on there in order to gain these incentive tokens. So those figures are highly inflated, and they're very difficult to draw any conclusions from, any real and intangible conclusions from. So that's our position on Rarible at the moment.
Absolutely. And just to be clear about that, I mean, there is absolutely nothing, let's say, personal against Rarible or nothing. I mean, it's just that, of course, there is some sort of wash trading everywhere on every project for some reasons. But in that specific case, we have been able to identify, you know, these really, really basic patterns of wash trading, just me selling an asset to Dan, just selling back the same asset every day. So these kind of things definitely inflate the volume like 10x of the normal one. So that's why for now we just put that aside, and we are just waiting for and building a solution to be able to identify what is a decent, relevant volume and what is most probably wash trading. That's why. So that's us. We are awesome. Just have a look at non-fungible. That's very cool. No, basically, yeah, some of okay, we shouldn't share that because yeah, it's the pro version, but this is really the main conclusions of what we have learned. And but at the end of the day, we have learned a lot of things with the rest of the team just building the report. Or of course, we already knew a lot about the figures, but just identifying these trends. During the interviews, during the all the research we have done, during all the workshops we have led with BNP Paribas L'Atelier, we have learned a lot of things, and we hope you will learn a lot of things as well reading the report. So, if we should sum up, maybe do you want Dan to start just sum up what you've learned from this report? What is the main conclusion?
My main conclusion, I guess, is that we're entering into a phase of mainstream adoption and mainstream growth with the number of, and I keep coming back to the brands and the IP that is coming on board, and the BGA is, as far as I know, is playing a large role in that. But like, yeah, the Ubisofts, the Animoca, BBCs, all of these major brands, which they were not interested in Bitcoin or Ethereum or these kind of currencies. But now that we have NFTs where the use cases are effectively infinite, they are finding a way to make use of these tokens, and they're willing to put their brand and licenses behind it. So I think 2020 was just the beginning. It was the start of some of these large corporations starting to deploy their products. And the beginning of 2021, we've really seen the boom starting to happen as a result of all these projects, and as a result of even more projects in the pipeline that people are anticipating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. My take about this report is that actually 2020 has been some sort of still a quiet year for the NFT space. Of course, a lot of things happen. But if you look at what the NFT space looked some sort of 1 year ago, let's say at the really end of 2019 and at the end of 2020, in terms of global trends, the segments were basically the same. Of course, the volume was a little different, but it was more a year to get a little more mature. Today, that the NFT space is extremely mature, way more than what we expected, honestly. I think it's maybe time to get to new experiments, and that's definitely what we see today. And to be honest, with the non-fungible.com team, we are reached out almost every day by projects or project holders that have ideas about, we could use NFTs to do that. And honestly, in most cases, we're like, oh my gosh, we've never thought NFTs could do that, but okay, why not? Let's try. And I think, I mean, we know that NFTs can definitely address, gaming, art, ticketing, these kind of things. But there are so many, I mean, hundreds, thousands of use cases we haven't explored yet. So that's, I mean, 2021 will definitely be a year of experimentation. Some will fail, some will succeed. There will probably be a lot of surprising, weird projects, but that's part of the game. So yeah, that's going to be a really exciting year, definitely. So yeah, these are some of the the really takeaways from the report. The secondary market is still low. The two solutions are definitely getting bigger and bigger every day. This part about the brands and IPs that rush to enter the NFT jungle, that was, let's say, not an assumption, but something we observed with a list of brands that just enter the space. But the real discovery for us was when we saw the list of companies of mail address that downloaded or purchased a report. We of course can't share that right now because it's somewhat confidential, but there are maybe, let's say, hundreds of companies that we were not expecting to be interested or looking at NFTs, but are currently downloading and reading this report. And some are extremely massive, to be honest. We have some billionaires, some social media CEO, this kind of people that are downloading the report. So yeah, that's extremely exciting for us and for the space, of course.
I may have a question now for you, Zup, and Dan. Just curious about your vision for next year. So I was thinking, as you were sort of briefing about the report, which industry do you think is going to be huge next year? Like, how do you see this expanding, the NFT? Like, we heard a lot about fashion, for example, being one of the industry interested in entering the NFT space, but which one do you think is going to become the major industry in the NFT space?
Personally, I think so. I think we're already seeing a large boom with collectibles with NBA Top Shots. I think we're going to see. Now that I'm thinking about it again, I think that we might see the same cycle that we saw when NFT started. So it started with collectibles, and then we started to get into like metaverses and game items, and then it got a little bit into utility items like domains, and then really hard into artwork in the past 6 months to a year. I think we're going to see that trend repeat itself. I think we're going to go back to collectibles, and we see that with Top Shots now. But this time, I think art is going to remain a constant through that cycle. So I think we're going to do collectibles, and I think it's going to get back to game items once all of these platforms have finalized some of their solutions for dealing with the Ethereum gas fees, whether that's layer 2 or another different layer 1. And that would make those game items usable again. And then after that, I think, we'll see a little bit more utility again. And I think we'll just cycle those 4 industries again over the next year, to be honest. What are your thoughts, Sue?
I totally agree. That's funny because I said something a little comparable this morning to during an interview to media. This Jack Dorsey thing, the tweet with a really crazy auction on valuables. The idea of putting converting something on the web as an NFT is not new. Valuable actually haven't really created something completely new. If you look something like 2 or 3 years ago, this project called Marble Cards, basically you were able to take a URL and just convert it as an NFT, and you can just collect URLs. Today, with valuables, 3 years later, you can take a tweet and convert it as an NFT and trade it. So basically, there is this kind of cycle. Of course, there is way more hype today around this kind of events, but it's definitely, it's obvious that we'll see the same sort of mechanism, but more and more we'll see more mature projects arriving. I don't think we'll have, this craze we had at the really beginning of NFTs around, Ponzi's or some sort of scammy projects. We may see some, but the space is way more mature. So I think gaming will continue to grow and be massive. It's possible that in 2021 year will remain number 1. just because of this Beeple thing, and we see so many artists just reaching out every day because it's definitely an opportunity to get famous and make money. So that's definitely logical.
Great, thank you for answering that question. There's a comment that came from the audience, which I'd love to share with you around crypto art, since we were discussing on this subject. So regarding art as NFTs, could one say that the value of art and its scarcity comes from the type of medium used to showcase? For example, painting on canvas can get destroyed if not cared for, which adds to scarcity. And then the question goes on saying, since digital art cannot be destroyed ever, will the value be retained similar to art on canvas? What are your thoughts on this? Since we've also seen like Banksy being destroyed in public.
Absolutely. I've been thinking about this actually for past couple of weeks, and that when an artwork is lost or it gets damaged in the real world, I mean, it's gone. It's really gone for good. We do have there's a similar mechanic on blockchain. I mean, mistakes happen. People transfer assets to the wrong place, and then it's the same kind of situation. I mean, that asset is gone for good. I mean, you can still go and view it. You can still see it's there. That's great, but the ownership of it is gone. NFTs, as long as there's not a mistake like that, which you could equate to a real world mistake, they do live forever. They are self-preserving. I mean, they're never going to, the metadata is not going to diminish, the ID is not going to diminish, that certificate or the image that's linked to it is not going to diminish, as long as these projects like Super Rare and like Maker's Place or any of the other platforms are using these responsible methods of storing the data. As long as someone has a backup, it's forever, it's permanent. So it's difficult. I'm not sure if I could make a conclusion from that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. To be honest, it's not something I've considered yet. But yeah, the thing that digital artwork can't be destroyed. It can be lost, but it can't be destroyed. I'm not sure it will have a negative impact on the value, but still, I have a feeling that the sales we see currently, and that's definitely my personal assumption, I mean, where I have no proof of that, is a little bit about hype. Of course, I mean, these artworks from people are really cool, and I say nothing about that, but it's more like it goes really, really fast. I don't say it's a bubble, but it's definitely hype. So that's possible that in the next few months, we'll see buyers just say, okay, calm down. Okay, there's definitely it's a cool digital piece of art, but I will never pay X millions for that just because it's only digital. So for now, there is, these people with extremely large wallets being able to pay that much for these artworks. But yeah, I have a feeling that we may see some, market corrections in the next few months. Not in terms of volume, maybe in terms of value.
I think that makes sense. I mean, with every new industry, that definitely happened. And you might call it a bubble in the past, but like when the Gutenberg press was developed, I mean, there was probably a ton of stuff going out. When the internet was deployed to the public, it became inundated with new developments, new technologies. And I think it is similar with NFTs in that everybody's experimenting, everyone's pushing new ideas, they're trying to see what works and what doesn't. So yeah, I think over time we'll see that we'll definitely see a little bit of correction, I think minimum, but I don't think it's going to be as big as people are expecting, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be as big of a correction as people are expecting.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. That was an interesting insight. Thank you both. So let's dive into what happened in 2020.
Yeah. So basically, what you have there is more like a timeline. So basically, we have built two different timelines. One is more about basically what happened, and we noticed, by the way, that in the PDF one, in the free version, or in the digital one, you can definitely click on the links, but on the physical one, it's a little more complex. But you can still find all the information about basically what's going on, and that's very interesting to see. And to be honest, it's part of the things we have realized building that is if you just look at that, so many things arrived between just September and December. So in 3 months, it's basically half of the events from the year. So that was a little, I mean, this was one of the first signal that something was going on and that the space was booming. We were not realizing in September that it was booming, but it was the really beginning of this craze we are experiencing today. Gosh, we should have bought so many NFTs at that time.
I keep saying that to myself too, but we still have hopes for next year.
And the second one is more, that these are globally all the events, the announces, the biggest sales, these kind of things. And what you have there is more all the pre-sale, massive pre-sale fundraising. And it's interesting as well to see the figures from, 2 million for the sandbox, 5 million. And I don't think was that this year, 80 million? Oh no, So Rare with this 40 million?
Oh.
40 million was in 2021, I think.
4.3 in December there.
Yeah, but they raised once more, and I think it was way more than that. The last raising for from So Rare was crazy. I have a doubt about the figure, but it's definitely getting bigger and bigger. And these figures are more like, this is the beginning of something really big, and we'll see many, of course, new players, new buyers, new artists, and new projects. Because when just little startups or people just look at that, they're like, okay, we can just raise 2, 5, 4, 10 millions just because we are in the NFT space. Let's go. And we'll see so many new projects just every day. Honestly, we need to be ready for that. We'll see new projects every day, new announcements like, okay, I'm going to do Uber with NFTs or Amazon with NFTs. I don't know what that means, but I want to do it. We'll see that, definitely. So thank you to So Rare, by the way. So the global metrics. So basically, just to give you a little maybe overview about the structure of a report. You will start with really global information about what's going on, what is the volume of NFTs traded, what is the volume of USD, this kind of stuff. And the more you go into the report, the more it goes to really hyper-focused analysis about the distribution of the market between a primary, secondary market, what are the most traded assets, the most liquid, this kind of things. And of course, if you just want a global overview, I think you can stop at page 30. If you want to dive deeper, you will need to go until the 141 page. So, so when I talk about this gradual boom, this is the volume of NFT-related search on Google. So basically, how many people look for NFTs or non-fungible token, and that's very. I may share my screen because if you look today at Google Trends about NFT or non-fungible tokens, you will see none of these little trends, there, because basically you will see just a little flat line and a boom. And that's it, and nothing else. Just because it went from something like, it's relative growth. And so basically it went from 1 to 100 in a month. And that's really, really impressive. What else? Do you want to say something about that, Dan, maybe? I don't know.
No, I think it's in line with our projections from our 2019 report. It's interesting to see the growth, and I remember looking back at it, and I remember questioning you specifically, Zoop, going like, oh, but I mean, between 2018 to 2019, there was kind of a stagnant growth. It didn't go down, but it didn't go up very much. And when we had that prediction in there, it was strictly based on the figures and on the history. And so it surprised me to see that play out, really, to say, wow, we're actually pretty accurate with that assumption.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really important. You remember in the key takeaways where this point about the second two, the layer two technologies like the side chains and so on, and the rise of other blockchains. And this doesn't take into account flow. This doesn't take into account of Loom, Ronin, Wax, and so many others. Neither the ERC 1155. This is a little piece of a cake, actually.
Yeah, but it is important, I think, that when we're looking back at 2018, 2019, and then to 2020, that we're comparing apples to apples. So if we extrapolated that into the Flow blockchain or into these side chains, I think, if not, we would see if we didn't see the same amount of growth, we'll probably see exponentially more in terms of transaction volumes, in terms of usage, in terms of wallets, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's a healthy conservative estimate.
Mm-hmm. Actually, to be honest, same for the market cap. This 300 million market cap is definitely extremely conservative compared to what we see today, especially. And basically, it's based on this distribution. And what is important about how we have calculated this market cap, which is probably not obvious, is that we have taken into account the liquidity of each project and each NFT tickets. So basically, let's take this example of, if you remember, Crypto Countries. It was a project in really early 2018, but had a huge success for 3 weeks and then just completely disappeared. But today, if someone, let's say, someone just trade a Crypto Country for, I don't know, 200,000 USD. Does that mean that all the crypto countries were worth the same? Probably not. And it may be just, I don't know, someone just doing that to, I don't know, just trying or whatever. So we have taken into account what is the percentage of a complete supply has been in circulation over the year. So if, let's say, only one crypto country circulated over the total supply, we won't multiply the value of this asset by the total supply of crypto countries. It would be way too easy to manipulate the market cap. So that's why.
Sabrina, can we do multiple screen shares?
Or I can maybe stop screen sharing.
I'm not sure.
Okay. No, I was
never
just curious.
tried, but
If
you
you
can
scroll
give it a
back
go.
up, Soup, I just wanted to speak to the market cap stuff a little bit more. That exactly. So in our 2019 report, for 2018, we estimated $180 million market cap. And this was very, at the time, it was kind of in the infancy of developing this stuff. So that was kind of the conclusion we came up with. And that did not take into account the liquidity rate. So 2018, we estimated 180 million. 2019, we estimated 210 million. And then we forecasted 315 million for 2020. So this year, like Soup was saying, we really took into account that liquidity rate. So if a project hasn't traded, like Crypto Countries or like Crypto Celebrities, if they haven't traded very many assets over the year, then this calculation effectively makes those assets less valued because there's no liquidity, there's no buyers for these assets. So that was a big improvement on the market cap calculation.
Thank you for specifying that. I think it's important to understand how the data was put together and what were the metrics back then.
It has been a massive challenge, to be honest, because it was extremely expected by the community. What is the market cap of NFTs? Which basically, I mean, if we were completely 100% accurate, we should estimate the value of each NFT one by one to be able to identify the complete market cap. Because if, for example, for Gods and Chain, I mean, there are some cards that are just worth thousands, hundreds and thousands, and some almost nothing. So, of course, the average is better than nothing, but it's not perfectly accurate. So, yeah, to be honest, one day, probably next year, we'll be able to estimate all the NFTs one by one and give this NFT market cap. That should be interesting.
It's going to be quite a job, but we'll be excited to see it.
Yeah. So, maybe we'll go a little faster because we already spent something like 36 minutes. Oh my gosh, we're at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay,
Maybe we can
so-
also repeat the question for anybody who joined the live now so that they can also have a chance to participate in the little quiz and reward at the end of this live.
Absolutely. Yeah, so basically the question was, this morning we have checked how many USD have been transferred through NFTs. So basically it's not only the sales, it's on all type of interaction with NFTs. So if you have spent some ETH to breed two CryptoKitties together, it is taken in account. So yeah, between the 1st of January 2021 and today, how many USD have been transferred according to you? If you find the right answer, or at least the most accurate figure, you will win this absolutely amazing NFT year report, the physical and the digital copy, of course. So yeah, that's a really good one. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Zup.
I just wanted to answer Nifty Q's answer real quick. Yeah, how do we keep up with the amount of new projects? We check our emails every day. We get lots of form requests from the various projects, and then of course, without our team, they really do the bulk of the work, and they are becoming more and more the experts on the massive amounts of projects that are coming on a weekly basis. Maxim, who just commented in there, I mean, we initially paid him to play blockchain games for a year and a half. So he is our ear on the ground in that way, and we will continue to expand that so that we can make sure that we're capturing the entire industry.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are extremely lucky because I mean everyone in the team for now are coming from the NFT space. We are started to hire people that are outside of the space just because they are really good at backend development or marketing, those kind of things. But the bulk of the team, the 4 people that are just working on non-fungible for years now, come from the NFT space. So these people and us, of course, are really, I mean, they are skin in the game. They are testing new games just because they love that, not because it's a business, just because they're passionate about NFTs. That helps a lot. So yeah, basically, yeah, there are a lot of different charts and things that we would love to tell you more about. But yeah, maybe the main thing to remember about that is definitely the gas fees had a negative impact on the market, at least on the volume of trades, not on the value of trades. Basically, if you had to pay 20 USD for a transaction, you don't want to buy or sell 20 USD asset. You will definitely pay this $20 for a 2,000 USD asset. So basically, all the whales and investors continue to trade, but the, let's say, normal users, of course, have stopped trading due to high gas fees. Nope, that. Nope, that. I'm sorry, where is that? Oh, it's maybe a little later. Sorry. So many of them. If value, market activity. Yeah, it's maybe a little later in the report. Anyway, so too many pages. So yeah, that's not exactly a surprise, but metaverses are still massive. I mean, it's still 25% or a quarter of the market is still about metaverses in 2020. I think that if we just look now, for 2021, I think art is at least 30-50%.
I would, yeah, 30-50.
Yeah.
At least, yeah, 30 to 50, somewhere in there. It's quite large.
Yeah.
Impressive, yes. Yeah.
Of course, in terms of number of sales, it's kind of obvious. Gaming, just because when you play a game and you have a character, you want to just purchase the sword of a dragon or something like that. Of course, you will do a lot of microtransactions every day that you don't do for art or when you purchase real estate. So that's kind of logical that for gaming you have a lot of sales. Do you remember when I told you about these signals that the space was booming in September? Right there. we already had a lot of signals that something was going on. And the price of cryptocurrencies started to increase. Gas fees decreased gradually. So yeah, that was definitely a lot of signals, of positive signals. Same for the volume of sales that just decreased because of layer 2 and because of gas fees. Yeah, maybe I won't spend too much time on that, but yeah, you will notice that for each segment, a project is definitely dominant. Thanks, Decentraland, Ethereum service. I think that CryptoPunks is maybe 80% of the collectibles today, 90%, I don't know, for 2021, but something like that. Yeah, if you think at least...
That's a huge portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in 2021 alone, I believe CryptoPunks has almost done $100 million in sales. There were a couple days where they did more volume in that day than they had done in the past 3 years. It's absolutely exploded.
Mm-hmm. What is your opinion, Dan, about this recent 7 million sale for CryptoPunks?
Right, let's talk about that.
I haven't looked into the on-chain data for it specifically. I know that specific alien punk, I have it up my screen right now, 4,200 Ethereum paid. There's been some very large collectors trying to get their hands on that one specifically. My opinion, I think maybe there's a very wealthy person who wants to make sure that they have the rarest of the rare, and I don't think they care about the price. We'll see if it gets relisted or resold, but I think, in my personal opinion, I mean, if I had that kind of wealth, I would be buying it for that price because I wanted it for myself. I wouldn't want it for resale value. I wouldn't want it. That's a lot of money to spend on a collectible, but it is probably one of the rarest of the rare on CryptoPunks.
Why this one, exactly?
It is one of the alien CryptoPunks. So as far as I know, yeah, there's not very many of them. If we look at the sales, give me one sec, come on. Of course, that's not
because it's an alien.
But yeah, exactly.
Hiding away.
Yeah, I just looked for CryptoPunks, and from the really beginning of the year, they realized 115 million only on CryptoPunks sales. So, and our average price at 38,000. That's decent.
Wow.
Oh gosh, I should have bought a lot before. So yeah, what is interesting about the expensive sale is same, the signal. In October, you've seen this gradual increase in terms of sales over 1,000. I mean, 1,000 USD is a lot. I mean, for a lot of people, it's definitely a lot. But you see more and more people spending this 1,000 USD. And I've heard a really interesting theory this morning, and I don't know if you've heard about that, Dan, as well. But it looks like everyone has a lot of money to spend these days on NFTs and globally. Even if it's the global crisis breakdown and everything. There are maybe two explanations to that. The first one is that ETH increased. So basically, these people do have a lot of money now because they just purchased ETH, let's say 1 year ago, and now the value just 10x. And the other one is, about DeFi. If you look at these, liquidity pools and this kind of mechanism, that acted not exactly like money printing, but created a lot of value. So a lot of people benefited from that, and now have ETH or Bitcoin or whatever they can reinvest. Because if you cash out, you have probably to pay taxes on that. So it's maybe a smarter move to take this cash you have win, if you have win, and just put it back into NFTs, because it can still 10x in the next few months. So I find that interesting as a theory. Nothing really to see there. So yeah, of course, people buy NFTs with ETH, which is not exactly a surprise on Ethereum. So yeah, I think we'll really go fast about that. Is really the distribution of each market per segment between the primary and the secondary market in terms of volume of sales and volume of USD. So as we said before, this is definitely getting really in the detail of each market. So we won't spend too much time on that. The sales and trends. Yeah, I don't think we need to spend too much time on that. So many details about all the sales, the sales, everything.
These are interesting when we look at these, and I remember every single one of these sales being just totally epic all over crypto Twitter. And compared to today, these are like, yeah, that's so 10 years ago thinking sort of thing.
Absolutely. And we have this weekly newsletter where we put the 2 highest sale per week, and thanks to that, I remember that, oh gosh, yes, this F1 Delta Time Grand Prix de Monaco has been sold for that price at that time. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was already in February. Oh my gosh. No, in December. Oh gosh, I don't know how to read these dates. So yeah, that was a little. Because this section, this seventh one, was really meant for not. I mean, it's a little provocative, making profit with NFT. But it was more like, okay, a lot of people. Today I have a question of, okay, why there are so many people in the NFT space? Why do they purchase NFT? Or, I mean, is that even profitable to launch a crypto game, or to sell your artworks on as NFTs, or to trade NFTs? So here is basically the answer to these questions. So why these people are really active? Just because they do NFTs as a living. So yeah, there are a lot of figures that you will find in the pro version about that. The most profitable sale, just this one is completely crazy. So basically, someone purchased this Axie for 60 ETH and sold it back for 300 ETH, which is a kind of interesting benefit for only one sale. That's it. Do you have maybe any question that we haven't answered yet? There's
a couple of questions about art, actually, but I don't know if you want to take on these later on or continue with the report for now.
As you want. We can definitely take 3 hours to talk about the report, so feel free to.
I think there's an interesting point made here by this user, saying that art value is entirely derived from its scarcity and it's subjective to the owner. And then same person saying that curation remains to be a huge area that's not being innovated. And yes, I agree on that point, because in some way, yes, I mean, filtering all the value of these NFTs or understanding how these should be valued, in a way, it's curation on NFTs is something huge that I think the three of us also discussed in the past. But I don't know if you want to share any insight around that.
Sure, I think he's absolutely right. They are absolutely right. Curation, it's kind of a double-edged sword in NFTs. I mean, at one point there needs to be curation to the point where people can feel comfortable in what they're buying on whatever platform they're on, or what they're viewing, or what they're selling, sort of thing. But on the flip side, we don't want to curate so much that it restricts people's freedom. And I think this goes towards our current kind of position on Rarible. As a platform, it is incredible. It's incredibly empowering to the artists. It's total freedom to people, to artists, to deploy whatever they want and to get their work out there. But on the same time, because there's a huge lack of curation, there's a lot of questionable stuff that goes on there as well. I mean, the other week we saw some Banksy copycat on there, and then they went on to create something that was more inspired by than it seemed initially. but I think it's a tricky balance, and I can't necessarily speak to the art industry in particular. I'm not an art expert by any means, but I think there is some level of curation that needs to happen, and I agree that it's lacking innovation in that space 100%, and we are hoping to do our part in the curation and do it responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I have nothing more to add. That was perfect. Yeah, maybe one interesting thing to say about the report. We don't really talk about people. We talk about wallets, because we don't know how many people interact with NFTs, but we know how many wallets. We can assume that basically one wallet equals one people. We know that it's wrong, because a lot of people own one or two or several wallets. But at the end of the day, it's probably the most relevant metric we have to date. What is interesting there is, if you only look at that, okay, almost 200,000 new people were active in 2020, but only in 2020. So these are new users, new wallets. In 2018, we had only 84,000, and not that much in 2019. But if you look at these OGs, this one there, these 8,000 people that were active in 2018, 2019, and 2020, there are really, really few of them. So basically, it means that a lot of people there just arrived when there were so many hype around collectibles, around Ponzi's, around kind of weird projects, and they purchase that, and they probably get like, oh, okay, this is a new scam, so I just give up. And that's why I think we don't see more people from 2018 still active today. And I'm really, really excited about this 4001. I mean, I know this is a really, really tiny niche, but these guys were there at the really beginning. They just stopped during a year and a half or 2 years, and they went back after 2 years saying, okay, it's time. CryptoPunks are back. Okay, I'm there. And so that's what we have seen, what we have discovered in this analysis, is that a lot of people just went back after 2 or 3 years, which is interesting as well. So many. Yep, you have a complete list of all the brands, IPs, licenses that entered the space. So the video game studios, the sports, fashion, luxury, entertainment, and cinema, all of these projects, all of these brands have an NFT project. They have announced something, or they have built something around NFTs, which is crazy. The list, I think, doubled since 2021, but still. I think we're close to the end. I don't think we need to detail everything. That should be a little boring after it. Yeah, you will find this basic. Oh, these are the predictions. So I will let you discover the predictions for 2021 in the report. Maybe one important thing we have discovered as well is more, this relationship between the pandemic and the NFTs. A lot of people were afraid that if there are other, real life concerns, people will just won't care about NFTs. It's not the case. Actually, a lot of people were just, some lockdown and just at home and probably nothing else to do. So they spent a lot of time on internet, and some of them just discovered, Decentraland, metaverses, and some, NFT projects. And what is interesting, if you take this example of, Ready Player One or Matrix, in these worlds, in these dystopic universes, people spend their whole life in digital worlds, not because they love to, because they have no other choice. And if you take this example of the global pandemic and the lockdown, people had no other choice than just spending time online. So that doesn't mean that NFTs are the solution for complete, dramatic situation in the world. It's more like the virtual worlds will probably boom when the real life will not be exciting enough. That's probably pessimistic, but I think it's kind of realistic because it's always after dramatic events. But in this dystopia, you see people just going into Ready Player One. I think we are done. Gosh.
That was a really great insight into the annual report. Okay, so I think we can go back to the question. Actually, I think there's a lot of people here quite excited to hear what the answer was to the initial question, which was around how many NFTs have been transferred since 1st January 2021. Am I right?
How much USD have been transferred for NFTs? So
Okay,
not how many NFTs. How much?
Thank you for that.
How much USD? So
what was the highest estimate?
Right, so let's go back to the answers. We got a couple of them here, but feel free, anyone watching, to make a guess.
Get your answers in.
Close to 600 million.
I'm checking right now to have the exact figure. So you will have a really
180 million.
Okay.
Vincent.
We're going for Price is Right style here. So if you go over, then it disqualifies.
Maybe we can give a little hint about that. We recently announced that it hit 1 billion. We recently announced that. So it's probably a little larger. Maybe.
Let's see.
And it was, I don't remember exactly, in 2020, it was something like 300 million, something like that. Not even 500,000. USD traded. This is not only about sales. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, basically it was a quarter of a billion in 2020. So now
I don't see any other answer coming up, so I think people are really looking up on the internet right now trying to find an answer.
3 billion, Vandana. Wow. I'm just looking to the really updated figure just to be sure we have the exact results. Sorry. Yeah, I think we should be good. Sorry. I'm just a second.
One thing I really enjoyed about this report that I think we did differently than other years, I was particularly interested in all of the quotes that were in there from the different project leaders. So we had Jiho in there, Ben Nolan from Crypto Voxels. We had John Egan as a partnership on the report and collaborator. And the insights that they give into the industry are super unique. Rude Moose as well. She led some really strong opinions on the collectorship of these items, and it's really interesting to hear the opinions from these people who have been in the industry since the beginning. And we consider all these people very valuable community leaders.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it was really the point, of not only being about figures, but really of the reality, what's going on, what does that mean to be part of a community? What does that mean to, grow a community in the NFT space? What are the tips and tricks? These kind of things. Same for, this interview with Robbie from Animoca Brands, which explained basically what is their interest from just being into the space and why do they invest into the NFT space. So that was really exciting. should we share the figure maybe?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't see anyone else guessing, so I think we'll have to pick from people that have already provided an answer and announce a winner.
So we have Vandana with 3 billion, and someone just said
Vincent with 480 million,
480 million.
and Chase with 600
Okay.
million.
So the answer is 1.34 billion.
Okay.
So just for your
In
information,
2 months.
yeah, in 2 months and a half, and we published this 1 billion announce something like a week or 2 weeks ago. So it means that in only 2 weeks, and only on Ethereum, without all the sidechains, without Nifty Getaway and NBA Top Shot, it's 3.400 million, which is completely crazy. So the right
Wow.
answer is 1.34 billion. I think.
So
Who
we'll get
got
in touch
closest?
with. I think, yeah, whether you use Price is Right rules or just closest, I think Blockchase got that one.
Yes. Okay. So we'll let him know. Congratulations.
Congrats, man. we'll get in touch with you to get all your shipping details, and we'll get you this report.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, guys, it's been an incredible journey through the report. Thank you so much for analyzing the figures and letting everyone understanding better how you worked on the report. So we're very excited to look forward to, we're very excited to see what's going to be happening next year. And of course, we're going to keep up with the news, since every week is actually quite exciting to watch. What is a year? Exactly, that's what I meant, right? So there's so much happening like these days in the NFT world. So thank you so much for all your work. And once again, how do we get the report if somebody wants to get a copy, or digital or physical?
Actually, you can just go to nonfungible.com. There is a banner on the right of the website, or on our blog post, on our blog section. You can find this really large announce saying that the new report is live, and you can just go there, and you can pick a free version of 102 pages, or a pro version, which is a physical and digital one, of 141 pages.
Awesome. Wow. A lot of reading, but it's definitely going to bring a lot of knowledge around the NFT market. So thank you so much, Dan and Zup, for being with us today. And thank you for staying with us, the audience. And I hope you enjoyed this session. So we'll see you again next week at the BGA. Thank you, Zup, and thank you, Dan, again. Take care.
Thank you so much for the invitation. See you later.
Bye-bye.